right, great to have you here. Welcome to the program. Thanks to Joe Pags Show. Great radio stations across the land. Newsmax TV, iHeartRadio, joepags.com. It is, in fact... See, I've got to get it. Hold on a second. This mouse over here is going to work better, I guess.
You do know we start the
Hello,
show
the mouse was jumping around like a dork. All right, it's Thursday. I'm feeling all right. And by the way, I really am. I mean, I guess I'm hearing from Polo that other people are not feeling all right, the people who are on the winning side. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Seems I got to have
but it's Thursday, almost Friday. The weekend's almost here.
Every night I
so this is how we do.
Strangest dream. Imprisoned by the way it could have been.
People watching on TV are going, he's not going to really sing, is he?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Oh, I'm all saying. I'm all saying. I'm all feeling all right. Thursday, almost Friday. The weekend's almost here, and it's a good day in America. Let's bring it. Turn it up.
Took the key. You're feeling all right.
Have some harmony in a minute.
I'm not feeling too good myself.
I think we can do some harmony since it's a good day in America.
You're feeling all right.
I wonder if they're going to protest that.
I'm not feeling too good myself.
That's how we do. See, that probably George Soros right now is injecting money, and MoveOn.org. They're both injecting money into all the protest groups because I'm singing. I'm telling you, it's a great day in America.
One protest I could get behind.
Now listen, is there some truth to the fact that Polo was saying? I listened to very little talk radio today, a little bit of Rush, but not much. But he said that conservatives sound angry. Why?
I've noticed a little bit. Maybe they're going. I know they're really going after the media on election night and their coverage.
Well, I mean that's okay. I mean, I'll go after the media for election night coverage.
I would imagine they'd be happy because their guy won.
I mean, we rocked.
Of course.
All these radio stations that we have rocked. And by the way, we had 3 or 4 new ones just today, and I'll get to those as they become official. But let me just say this: Tulsa, we're coming.
Oh, I like Tulsa.
Just put that right out there.
I like Tulsa.
Yep. Pennsylvania, we're going to add another one out in Pennsylvania.
Really?
They're just going to put it out there. I'm just going to say a little something. But the Joe Pags network is growing. So I don't understand why anybody would be angry, even as I watch these stupid protests. And that's what they are. They're stupid.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
I'm still not angry about it. We're going to get into that in a second. I do want to start, though, with what I believe was the biggest news of the day. Not the George Soros injected money-fueled, riots and protests. I think the biggest story of the day has to be so much flip-flopping going on from the left now. And we'll start with the leftist in chief, Barack Obama. Donald Trump and Barack Obama had never met before. They met today in Washington, D.C. at the White House. Carrie, I believe that you've got a story that rounds up that visit, and we'll talk about it a little bit because I gotta be honest with you. Yeah. If 3 days ago a guy was saying that I somehow was aligned with the KKK, I don't know that I want to hang out with that guy. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. And speaking of flip-flop, you did hear what John Kasich had to say today?
No, but we'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
Chelsea Handler, flip-flopper.
Oh, she's very upset.
Amy Schumer.
Very upset.
Amy Schumer, flip-flopper. Okay, so we're going to get into all of that. Plus, we're going to have Sheriff David Clark at the bottom of the hour, of course, from Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. Wisconsin goes to Trump. Sheriff Clark watching these riots and these idiots, blow up like they are. I definitely want his take on that. And is he going to have a role in the administration? We'll talk to him about that as well. But let's start with what I believe is the biggest story of the day, the current president meeting with the future president at the White House.
From CBS and AP, in a cordial beginning the transfer of power, President Barack Obama and President-elect Donald Trump met at the White House Thursday. Obama called the 90-minute meeting excellent, and his successor said he looked forward to receiving the outgoing president's counsel. Afterward, Obama said to Trump, "We now are going to want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, the country succeeds." And the two men who've been harshly critical of each other for years were meeting for the first time, Trump said. The Republican said he looked forward to dealing with the president in the future, including counsel. Obama blasted Trump throughout the campaign as unfit to serve as commander-in-chief. Trump spent years challenging the legitimacy of Obama's presidency, falsely suggesting Obama may have been born outside the United States. But at least publicly, the two men appeared to put aside their animosity. As the meeting concluded and journalists scrambled out of the Oval Office, Obama smiled at his successor and explained the unfolding scene. If Trump makes good on his campaign promises, he'll wipe away much of what Obama's done during his 8 years in office. Now, the Republican president-elect, who will govern with Congress fully under GOP control, has vowed to repeal Obama's signature health care law and dismantle the landmark nuclear accord with Iran. First Lady Michelle Obama also met privately in the White House residence with Trump's wife Melania, while Vice President Joe Biden prepared to see Vice President-elect Mike Pence later Thursday. Trump traveled to Washington from New York on his private jet, breaking with protocol by not bringing journalists in his motorcade or on his plane to document his historic visit to the White House. Trump was harshly critical of the media during his campaign and for a time banned news organizations whose coverage he disliked from his events.
No.
Also on Trump's schedule were meetings with House Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky to discuss the GOP legislative agenda.
It was a strange juxtaposition, and thank you, Carrie, for that. If you don't know, that's Carrie Lockie, great news anchor, general pain in my ass. It was a strange juxtaposition in Washington, D.C. You had President Obama that basically called Donald Trump, a colluder with the KKK 3 days ago, and that he's not fit to serve and can't get the nuclear codes, welcoming him to the White House, and we're going to do it the way George W. Bush handed it off to me. And then also at the White House, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
And LeBron James, who actively campaigned as hard as he could for Hillary Clinton, lied and said he'd never heard a locker room talk, which is BS. Again, tried to bring Ohio home for Donald Trump. Also at the White House today, John Kasich, as you mentioned a bit ago, who was a never Trumper. Now, what is this flip-flop he's done?
Well, he was saying today we should be unified and we should get behind the president and we need to work together.
Go eat a meal, John.
He didn't even vote for the guy.
He should go eat something. He should really go eat something, because that's what he did the campaign. All he did was eat. Somebody in the press would ask him a question. Hold on, I'm going to finish my macaroni.
I'm hungry.
I'm not really sure I understand why John Kasich thinks that he even rates at this point. Was a very successful Republican National Convention in his state and in Cleveland. In Ohio, and he ignored it, stayed away from it like the plague. He campaigned against Donald Trump, not necessarily for Hillary Clinton, but he refused to support Donald Trump, didn't vote for Donald Trump in his own state. Trump wins his state, and I think what you're starting to see is some of these politicians now are scared to death for their political future. They didn't back Trump, and Trump won their state potentially. Like you've got Manchin, who's scared to death now out of West Virginia because he's going to lose the next time he's up for re-election, because he's on the wrong side of history right now. So very, very interesting to see this thing unfold today. Yeah, Obama said very nice things about Trump. Trump said very nice things about Obama. Interestingly, there was to be a photo op for the first family and the incoming first family. Obama canceled that. I don't know why, but that was canceled. Also, the meeting was supposed to be, 15 minutes?
Yes.
And it was 90.
Much longer. Mm-hmm.
It was 90 minutes. So it's an interesting day in America. I think it's a very good day in America. But we're finding out how hypocritical the far left and the progressives are in this country. People like President Obama are basically rolling over and saying, okay, you won, let's act differently now. There are calls for Trump to be a uniter somehow now. No, he shouldn't be a uniter. I think those who have been so vehemently against him have to listen to his message now and have to stop lying about his message, that he hates all. Well, I heard some idiot today say on television that Trump wants to deport all Muslims. When did he say that?
He never said that.
Never said that, right. So at some point, we have to realize that to the victor go the spoils. Now, I think the way that Obama did it 8 years ago, the arrogance and conceit in which he did it, I won elections, consequences, and then he ruled that way. And I was going to say governed. He didn't govern. He ruled that way, like a king, like he had all the power. That's why in 2010, the House went back to the Republicans, because we, the people, didn't like that. And then in 2014, that's why the Senate went to the Republicans, because we, the people, didn't like that. So what I think Trump needs to do, and what I hope he'll do, is stick to his campaign promises. Get rid of Obamacare. Get rid of the unbelievable regulations. And so far, it sounds like he's going to do that. Bring freedom and liberty back into the town square. the common area for America. And those who are out there protest, first of all, these protesters are paid. They're not real. It's not organic. It's not grassroots. And there are a lot of people who are violently rioting. They're not even protesting. But it really reminded me of something, and I posted a meme on this. And for those who don't know, some call it a meme. It's a meme on Facebook and on Twitter. And the picture is of some of these protesters who are screaming and crying and holding nasty signs. And I was watching television last night, and people are dropping F-bombs and P-bombs on live TV. And this. Remember what the slogan was? Remember?
What was that?
Well, you had the together, forward together, or together is better, or united, or whatever. But the one thing that the left really hung their hats on, especially when transgender stuff was going on and gay marriage was going on, love trumps hate.
Oh, yes. I saw a lot of those signs.
Love trumps hate. We're going to use the guy's name in the hashtag, in the saying, and we're going to somehow, because we're so incredibly witty and verbose and intelligent when it comes to the amount of words we know or something. Love trumps hate. Well, I took that little hashtag and made a meme, a picture with words on it, on my Facebook and on my Twitter. And it's just a picture of these angry protesters, so upset, screaming and yelling and making faces and holding signs. And I just wrote hashtag, I thought love trumps hate. What we're seeing is it was all a lie. What we're seeing is it was all made up. What we're seeing is it was all BS. They didn't want togetherness and unity. They wanted us all to agree with them. And if you don't agree with them, then we're gonna be rabble-rousers. We're going to start some trouble. We're going to riot. We're going to protest. We're going to push for anarchy. We're going to say police shouldn't have guns or authority. We're going to say that. Carrie, can you think of what exactly it is that they are accomplishing by protesting? What exactly will the end game be? Hey, you guys protested in 7 cities around the country. Screw it. Yeah. He didn't win. Is that what they think is going to happen?
I can't think of a thing as to what they think they're going to get out of this.
1-800-383-9624, joepags.com. Stay right here.